Hello, welcome to GOT Good Old Tech. Today we're going to talk about the Pixel 8. Should you upgrade? Yes or no? I've got some holdbacks for myself. So let's check it out. So I'm going to start with talking about screen size, how it's changed. We're also going to talk about screen resolution. That's changed as well. We will cover the processor. We're talking about the new Tensor G3 and how different it may be. Then we'll talk about the cameras, which are some of the most important features on the Pixel phones. Then we'll get into the battery and we'll talk about the changes with the battery on both phones. We'll talk a little bit about storage. Has it changed? Did they improve how much storage the phones could take? Then we'll talk about that new feature that's coming, I believe, to just the Pro only. Then we'll wrap it up with the price and we'll talk about whether it's time to upgrade or wait. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the screen and the screen size on the Pixel 6 compared to the 7 and the 8. You know, the Pixel 6, the Pro, it has the 6.7 inch screen, so does the 7, and guess what? The 8, same thing, 6.7 inch screen. The difference is, this screen is curved around the edges, and on the new Pixel 8, it's supposed to be flat, no curves. Now, some of us like the flatness, some of us like the curves, so there's going to be a personal preference there on whether you like the newer screen or not. So some differences with the screen is peak brightness. The peak brightness on the previous phones, the 6 and the 7, was 1500 nits. They're just increasing it a little bit on the Pixel 8 with a 1600 nits. The refresh rate on the Pros is going to remain 120 Hertz, but on the Pixel 8 versus the previous standard models, they're going to increase that to 120 Hertz refresh rate. The previous has been 90. On the new 8, it's going to be 120 refresh rate. Now, something that's very curious to me as far as the screens go, the PPI is going to be reduced on the Pixel 8. So in other words, on the 6 and the 7, it was 512. On the Pixel 8, it's dropping down to 490. So I don't know if you'll notice any difference. It's just something to note. If we talk about the standard Pixel 8, here's another one that's a mystery to me. They're going from a 6.3 inch screen to a 6.17 inch screen. That's quite a reduction in screen size. I don't know if it's because it's going with the flat instead of the rounded curves, but they are reducing the screen size on the standard Pixel. Now, as far as the processor goes, they're going to use a G3 Tensor chip in the new Pixel 8. Now, that's giving us faster processing, a little smarter machine learning. Now, as far as heat, we still don't know because the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 7, as well as the new Pixel Fold, they still seem to all have heating issues, especially when you're really driving hard with camera, video, or even gaming. They tend to get a little hot. Hopefully they got that resolved with the new G3 Tensor chip. Okay, as far as batteries goes, they have not really increased the battery sizes too much, a slight bit. In other words, on the Pro, they went from 4,926 milliamp hours to 4,950 milliamp hours. So just a slight increase. I don't see that you're going to see a whole lot of improvement there unless the Tensor 3 chip does better. With the Pixel 8, we got a little bit more of a jump on the battery. We went from 4270 to 4485. Now, connected to the battery would be the charging. Charging's not really going to change that much on the Pro. They have 27 watts, that's what they're going to advertising. And on the Pixel 8, it's jumping up actually from 20 watts to 24 watts charging wired. So that's a little better. Wireless, they're both about the same. They're both doing 12 watts on the wireless end of it. So not a lot of excitement on the cameras. On the Pixel 8, it's staying with the 50 megapixel main shooter and the 12 megapixel ultra wide. Now, of course, with the Tensor 3 chip, there's going to be better lower light processing. So we may get better images, but as we know, the Google Pixel phones are top notch as it is. So with a better processor, we may get better images out of the Pixel 8. And when you go with the Pixel Now with the Pixel 8 Pro, we do have some upgrades on the camera. We still have the 50 megapixel main shooter, but we now have a 64 megapixel ultra wide camera. That's going to be giving you a little bit better imagery with the 64 megapixels. And as far as the third camera that we get on the Pixel Pro, and again, this one's going to be a zoom, and it's going to be a 48 megapixel zoom up to 5 times. Now we do have a strange new feature that's coming to the Pixel Pro, and it's going to be a temperature sensor. The temperature sensor is going to be located right inside, apparently, the LED flash, and you've got to hold it up to your head like so, and just kind of spin it around, and it takes your temperature. I guess it'll be part of the health app. Not quite sure what that feature's for, but That's not a feature I would buy the phone alone for. Let's talk about storage on this phone, and then I'll cover RAM. As far as these phones, again, they start out at 128 storage and goes up from there. 128, 256, 512, and on the Pro, you may even be able to go to 1 terabyte. Now, here's something about the RAM that I'm kind of puzzled with. The 6 Pro came with 12 gigs of RAM. Now, I really like that. Now, I did not upgrade to the 7 Pro. The Pixel Pro 7, you got 8 gigs of RAM if you bought the standard 128 gigs of storage. You had to go up on storage to get the 12 gigs of RAM on the 7. I did not upgrade. That's one of the reasons. Plus, there wasn't a whole lot of other changes. Now, on the Pixel 8, is there enough changes to upgrade? Still not sure, but at least on the RAM, they're starting it out with 12 gigs on the Pro. Now, lastly, I want to talk about pricing. Pricing is probably not going to change much on the Pixel 8. The price was started out at $599. That's for the 128 gig, and $899 for the Pixel Pro. May not change, but rumor is that the Pixel Pro is going to bump up $100. That's putting it right up there with the other phones at $999 to begin with. But I'm not real sure on that one, so we'll just have to wait and see. So are you ready to upgrade to the Pixel 8 or the Pixel 8 Pro? Leave it in the comments below. Tell me what phone you have and whether you plan on upgrading to the new 8. My thoughts as of this video is I would stick with the Pixel 6. As the RAM of the 8, it's a step above the 7, and the density, the PPI on the screen is better than the 8. What are you getting on the 8? You're getting one more zoom. This is a 4 zoom versus a 5. And you do get that 64 megapixel ultra wide camera. But who really needs that much megapixels on an ultra wide camera? I get good images as it is. You may get better lower light images on the 8. That's still to be determined. So you choose. Thank you for sticking with me. If you've never tried a Pixel phone and seen those photos, you've got to try it. Until next time, have a wonderful day. God bless.